It does seem like that should be the case. Lilgun, we'll see how they respond to this. Like, they've already got a nice counter in the Bane for that Chrono, assuming you don't get caught out. You can always Nightmare, Fiend's Grip, that Void in the Chrono, and that can make it rather annoying for Summit Gaming to try and deal with. Lilgun, though, they still have 2 more picks to try and deal with this draft that has come out from Summit. It's one of those things, though, like, I feel like this is one of the things we've seen many times with Lilgun, is they'll draft Brood first pick, the other team will pick many counters instantly against the Broodmother, and then they'll switch things up at the end. They'll go for something else that's going to be the actual win condition. Because the Broodmother, generally speaking for Lilgun, isn't really the win condition. They usually have something else in the POS 1 or POS 2 that kind of acts as that win, as that win condition as Lilgun. I mean, there might be one of them, John. They got the Tiny, that should be in the mid lane. Fair enough, it has been very potent recently. I just wonder now what they choose as a POS 1 here against the draft of Summit Gaming.
Yeah, it's still pretty open for Lilgun. And for Summit, again, we've got to see what their game plan is. Like, again, we're assuming that's already the Tricore. And there is still some synergy, but it's not very easy to, like, burst heroes down, especially something like the Tiny. Towards the late game, with all the strength and armor he has, Void's going to struggle a bit in that Chrono to find the damage to deal with Tiny. So I'm keen to see what idea they have for the last pick. Maybe something like, say, Snapfire support could help the cause, gives you a good presence in the Chrono, and kind of just allows you to melt through the Broodings once more. You have some pretty decent wave clear, good stuns. So that could be one way. You have a lot of combinations. Burst Strike Kisses, Arena Kisses is good. Of course, Chrono Kisses as well. For Lilgun, on their own safe lane here for 423, looking like it's still fairly open. 423 or Sanctity, depending on who decides to play what in mid. So it's still fairly open. Generally, you'd want something that stands back, just because it's 3 melee heroes. It's going to be hard for them to get the jump until the blinks are up. So something like Alina feels really nice on the mid, shift Tiny to 1. That could be one way to get that done. Or you could look... Drow is it's a far hitting hero. It doesn't feel amazing because of the jump threat. It's certainly very easy to handle in something like the Chrono. But the lane matchup could be alright. Like up against a Mars, it's not the worst thing in the world. Just stand far back enough that you can usually sidestep the spear, and you're not under threat from God's Rebuke. So Drow's a little bit more back and forth. There is a timing there for Mars. So we'll see what Lilgun wants and what Summit will opt to do with her flex here.
Summit. They do seem to need another support here. Could be anything, I suppose, though. They want to run the support Sand King. It could still happen, though it's not very popular. Sometimes we rarely see the support Mars coming out as well, if necessary. But no, they're going to go into the Snapfire. That's where the damage in the Chrono is going to be coming from. So it's a nice little pickup here from Summit Gaming. More stun to add on to the draft as well, which is always nice. Now I wonder really what Lilgun are going to do about this POS 1.
Yeah, it's tricky. Like, I feel like you still want a ranged core. Stands back, kind of kites around these triple melee cores coming out from Summit. Again, I feel like the best call is like a Lina mid, Tiny safe. So your win conditions on mid, your Lina can just build up. I think every matchup for Lina feels really good here. Whether it be the Sand King or Mars, Lina's just going to take control and just run down. Get some other ideas that are a bit wacky. Outside of, say, a Drow or a Luna or a TV. OD could be a really wacky pick. You get Astral to save from, say, any initiation if you do manage to time that right. You have good damage output up against the Void down the line. Could be one way if you want to get that done. It is a bit wacky, though, but Lilgun does sometimes do very wacky things with their draft. We'll have to see. The team fight from Lilgun isn't the most amazing. Mind you, like Summit, Burrow Strike, Arena, Chrono, Inkswell combinations, Kisses. They have a lot going for themselves. They will go to Night Stalker, so is that a Night Stalker one? Are we...
Might be.
No, it's an 11 Night Stalker. 423 will play the Brood mid or safe. Alright, and Sanctity on the Tiny. Or 423 mid Brood. And Sanctity on Safe Lane Tiny. They could still shift that around. Lilgun tends to shift it around who plays what where. So they could have likely still going to run the Broodmother on the safe and the Tiny on mid for Sanctity. But again, Sanctity and 423 kind of swap around sometimes.
I do like the Night Stalker pick, though. Like, it's a great way of kind of getting that aggression going, right? And even if you do have a safe lane Brood, and it's heavily countered, it won't matter if you get off to such a strong start that, you know, you just control the mid game completely, because they might just finish the game earlier. It's gonna take a long time for this Void to feel like it's an actual pos 1. We've seen this before. You're gonna build Maelstrom, but then you're gonna take a billion years farming on this Void, and eventually, yes, it becomes a big issue, but till then, you know, I wonder if they have enough time here on Summit, is what I'm saying.
They can make time. I think even if the Void takes a while, the threat from Sand King and Mara's initiation with the Cookie and Kisses follow-up and the Inkswell is pretty big. So you can actually force the team fights out. Team fights for Lilgun, it feels a lot more staggered. They have some good counterplay. Like if the Chrono does come through and the Bane isn't caught out, he'll always have to grip to play with, even through BKB. So it feels pretty good in counterplay. It's all down to execution, I will say. Lilgun's draft gives me a little bit more confidence because it just plays into what Lilgun's known for. They get their Broodmother, and we rarely see them fail when they have that hero up.
Yeah, absolutely. It should be a very, very interesting matchup here for game number 1 of this best of 3. And of course, we've got some odds to bring up as well. Jonathan, who's the favorites here? Oh, disappeared on me. All right, never mind. We don't have any odds, apparently. Never mind.
All right. Well, I would guess that Lilgun are the favorites. This is a veteran team, of course. Summit having to go through open qualifiers. And you know what always gets me about Summit, Mike? You look at their logo. That's literally our logo, isn't it? It's the Beyond the Summit logo for some reason.
It certainly is, Jonathan. The snap pie does get caught out already. CZY might be having a very early exit in this game number 1, as First Blood does go the way of Sanctity on the Tiny. Great start here for Lilgun and John. I'm glad to say we do have odds now up from 188-bit. 2 to 1.66, I believe, if my eyesight is not against me here. And you are correct. Lilgun are the favorites, but not by that much.
Yeah, I think, again, going by their performance already, getting that win over MIPH, who did beat Summit, and they beat the guys who beat Summit, so on paper they should be able to beat Summit as well, right? Like, that's how mathematics work. Let's see if that equation holds up, but already a strong start for Lilgun, finding that First Blood nice and easy. Does look like we'll trade even in the runes. It will be a 2-for-2, and they will get to break into their lanes. Keen to see how much they can get out from the side lanes here, though, from Lilgun. Like, it does feel like it's not as aggressive. You have a lot more stuns from Summit. They can look to play more aggressively early on, especially in this top lane, like Kishka and 11. It's a Night Stalker lane. It tends to be a little bit more passive until first night, whereas for Summit, you've got Unknown on Void and Trezam on that Grimstroke. So you've already got a really good Inkswell combination. If you get a couple lucky bashes, you can look for that kill early on here in Void.
Certainly could. See what Unknown and Trezam can get done. Of course, they aren't against the Broodmother they probably hoped they were against. They're against 11 and Kishka, but it should be a rather passive start here to this top lane between Summit and, of course, Lilgun. So we'll have a chance to look at the other lanes, which are probably going to be much more aggressive. Of course, mid lane, 4-2-3 and Mercury going to be going at it on the Sanking versus Broodmother. So I guess, you know, you like to point the instances out, John, but 2 bugs in the mid lane. I'd argue, though, that Mercury might have a pretty big advantage in this matchup.
Yeah, it feels a lot better. You have, you're going for the Caustic Finale, you just clear out the creep wave, the bugs are hugging each other. You know what, Mike? I want to dub this the Australian lane.
Right.
Spider and a Scorpion all together. It's just like your shed, Mike.
It certainly is, John. The Scorpions haven't been out as of lately, though. It's been winter, so they're in hiding right now, just so you know. But thank you, John. I do appreciate the naming of the Australian lane here in the mid lane. And of course, down to the bot lane, Crush and CZY going to be against the Tiny and, of course, the Bane. So Ace 12 and Sanctity against Crush and CZY. Anything to talk about in this lane, John, apart from the fact that we have a pos 1 Tiny for some reason?
And the threat of Cookie Spear is pretty damn big, so you've got great stuns to come through. Sanctity's going to have to watch his pacing. He does have good HP, not too much armor, and that's something Crush can look to capitalize on. Of course, you've always got the Nightmare save. I do like that they switched to Tiny safe lane instead of... Oh.
Yeah, very, very low here on the Sanking. Does get the Burrow Strike off to put a stop to 4-2-3, and it's like he's going to go for a bit of a fight over these water runes now. I mean, I said the Sanking should have the advantage, John, but that's just based off the Caustic Finale. Thing is, with 4-2-3 and the Insatiable Hunger, if he gets close enough with that Silken Boulder slow, he certainly has some great kill potential here on Mercury.
Is this how the natural order of things are in Australia, Mike? Do spiders eat scorpions?
Well, there's more spiders than scorpions, John, so I'll let you answer that question on your own.
Fair enough. And we'll see all those spider spams, of course, come out once the level 6 is up for 423. Still a ways off, but so far still looking like a solid lane for Mercury, despite that harassment out. He is still clearing out the creep wave a lot better than 423 is at the moment, and that's where maybe that lane swap kind of falls flat. Every single time 423 can get that insatiable hunger, though, he will harass out Mercury. And to be fair to 423, even if he does get harassed, he does have the web regen. So he still feels pretty safe, whereas Mercury, he's already out of regen, no bottle top-up. Gonna be a bit harder for him to work that aggression here, and it's forced to TP home.
That he is. Not good news here for Summit. Mid-sanking, just not enjoying the mid lane whatsoever right now. Even if he is in terms of ahead in terms of CS. No, he is enjoying his lane though, his unknown top lane. 17 CS already. Mind you, 11 is basically just trading farm with him. This seems to be all part of the plan here for Lilgun. They know they can't slow down Unknown in this top lane. But I suppose as long as the Night Stalker gets the XP and farm he wants, you're probably not really concerned about the Void anyway.
Yeah, you're still going to get the timings here on the Night Stalker. Double Brace is already up, so he's not under any threat of dying. That window for, say, Inkswell Time Walk In is kind of gone. Man, again, that's very reliant on RNG for the bashes, and sometimes it just feels like it never comes out. And sometimes you go for the bash on the enemy, you go for the deny on the creep, and it bashes the creep 3 times. You know, and that's one of the things when you do pick the Void up. But Lilgun again coming off with a pretty decent start, 1-0, less than 1k lead their way. I worry about how much space 423 is getting. He's reaching that point where the spawn spiderlings will be up, and sure, you have great ways of clearing it. It feels like we've seen Lilgun deal with brood counters before. It just doesn't matter. They play around it really well. If they can't push in, they just farm with 423, and they just clear out all the camps and block the camps as well with micro. Well, ever since that patch introduced that thing where you degroup the unit selection individually and just sends individual commands to each on whatever you're tabbed up to, it's been so easy to block every camp and just give info, and that's where the Broodmother really shines there.
Certainly is. I mean, 28, 24 rather, 25 in terms of CS between these two. Ward's being placed down as well, but immediate D ward here by Mercury. I mean, without that sentry ward being placed, 423 won't really have the kill potential here on the Broodmother. Spiderling's up now as well, so he definitely wants to try and get aggressive. That you do still have to be very cautious, because again, it's against Sand King. Gets a couple too many caustic finales off with those Spiderlings around. It's going to be a hell of a lot of damage here on 423. But he's going to just move into the jungle anyway, and we see this quite a lot here from the Spiderlings. Trezam, top lane, going to be in trouble, does end up going down to 11. Meanwhile, though, bottom lane, Sanctity dropping very low himself on the Tiny, but is able to survive through the onslaught.
No bashes. Unknown was trying to hit 11 to stop that chase. Just no bashes. Level 2 bash, 20% chance. Feels more like 0. And again, a strong start for Lilgun, hitting that nighttime, getting aggressive with Night Stalker, 2 points in that Hunter and Knight, as you tend to see, and they can just kind of take control. And as you said, 423 with the Spiderlings, just kind of running around the map, getting what he can. The camps are blocked, so a good heads-up move from Mercury on the side of Summit to prevent that overwhelming start coming through from Brood. Can always access a large camp on the right side, though. So not all is cut off here for 423, and he can even just make a foray into that top jungle anyway. Is protected by a ward, and no one's counteracting that movement. So 423 will still find that farm. And Lilgun still has the timings to meet. He had a great move for Night Stalker, pretty decent lane for Sanctity down bot in the core Tiny. And it feels like for Summit, Mike, once we see those level 6s up, once we see a couple of blinks up, that's when they need to start playing. They need to threaten with that overwhelming teamfight this lineup was designed for.
Oh boy, Unknown. He gets surrounded by the spiders, John. 423, taking him out very easily with the Broodmother. He just got outside of the web range as well, but the Spiderlings already had the block around him, and we're now the top tier 1 tower going to go down very, very early. They should be able to take it out, no issues, as Mercury and Trezam trying to hunt. We'll find Ace 12. Mercury, I doubt, gets in range for the Burrow Strike and won't. He'd love to push in the mid-tier 1 tower, but he's playing Sand King, so he can't really do much.
Yeah, you can only shove in with a creep wave, and you kind of want to threaten with a kill with the epicenter ready to go. Just a little bit more until the blink, 500 gold away. Maybe once that blink is up, again, you're lining up for the team fights. You're starting to look for the connections with your Sand King, with your Mars.
Sam, he's going to try and go for a run. Stroke of Fate not getting rid of all the Spiderlings. Well, now the Brood Mother just runs in, gets a very free kill for herself. It's one of those things, like, you've got to get a few more levels up for that Stroke of Fate to really get the job done against the Spiderlings, and, well, even then, 423 just not afraid.
Yeah. I have a question for you, Mike.
No,
why are spiders hairy? Like,
why
do they have hair? I do not know why. What purpose does the hair serve?
I don't know. Actually, it does serve a purpose, though. I remember reading a documentary about this. Like, hold that thought, John, because Unknown was in trouble, and may still be in trouble because 423 is overtaking the Dire Jungle again. There was a reason for their hairs, John. I just can't remember. But that's a very good question, John.
It's just weird. They're so hairy. They're insects with hair. It's just weird. It's just wrong. You know, it's like spiders freaking the heck out.
Did you want to Google it, John, while we're still here? I mean, nothing's happening anyway. Now I'm curious.
I could. I will take a guess, though. You have any guess before I search for the truth here? Before chat calls us a bunch of idiots? No guess?
Go on. Go find out the truth, John. Everyone wants to know the truth, John. I'll do the play-by-play here, of course. Summit. They have smoked up. I don't think they're going to find much out of this. They are hanging around the mid lane, maybe hoping for 423. Spiderlings are going to get taken out, so Trezam will say thank you very much for the cash. Smoke rotation, though, not really amounting to anything by Summit. Maybe they can try for 11, but it's nighttime. Go on, John. What's the secret?
Alright, it's for sensory things, you know, so they can feel a little bit more around them, I guess. Because I guess Carapace doesn't have sensors, right? Like, it's not like if you pet a scorpion, they're going to feel it on their back. So the hair does allow some sensations to come true and allow them to sense more of the world. I did say something related to like feeling the wind, so half a point. No points for you for no guesses, Mike. Unfortunately.
You can't reward yourself points, John.
Oh, I'm the game master, Mike. I can change the rules. I can alter the deal. Pray I don't alter it any further.
Crush. May get crushed very soon if he's not careful, John. There's a big surround coming from Lilgun. Mercury, he does show up with the blink now. Maybe they set up an 11 down at bot side. The nighttime is over. He does have crippling fear, but they might be able to initiate once they have the vision over the Night Stalker. Problem is, they were under this observer ward. They're gonna be fine. Mercury, he just backs out anyway. The Night Stalker gonna be just fine to get himself out. Crush, still sticking around, so they might end up popping the crippling fear. Seems like they can't even catch out the Bane.
Can't really punish. They've been sitting on this blink from Mercury for a long time. Dark Ascension is popped though.
Yeah, Crush is going to go down. Nice easy pick up there for 11. Of course, 423 showing up just in case they needed it. Can help the Broodmother get to one step closer to that Orchid timing. And I'll tell you what, John, there's not going to be any BKBs up for quite a while, so that Orchid might pay off heavily.
It's going to be very impactful. Summit's not going to be able to find a way to defend themselves well, and it's feeling really awkward. They've got that blink in Mercury. They've had the 6 on CZY. They want to get a combination off. They might find Sanctity. That could be the big kill they've been waiting for.
Yeah, Mercury looking to move in. Sanctity, he'd be a great pickup. Swell will be there. Mercury going to jump in with the Burrow Strike and the Mortimer's Kisses there. Onto the Tiny, and Sanctity eventually should just drop here and does. Great rotation out from Summit. We'll be able to secure the kill. And looking back at that Tiny's build-up as well, John, he is going pretty standard POS 1 Tiny build. I thought he might switch to the Magic build, but it's just not the case.
Nah, I mean, you've seen some core Tiny post-nerf. Hasn't really changed this patch as well, so it's still somewhat viable. And you can still kind of build up, hit that point, hit your level 20, you still do a ton of damage. Gives them the scaling they need. You have kind of nebulous scaling anyway with a Broodmother, and to an extent the Night Stalker, who does have pretty open itemization. So I don't mind that coming out from the Tiny. They are buying the space for the Tiny to build up. I am wondering one thing. Have we ever seen Broodmother with a dominated Hill Troll Summoner, and then getting the Rampage off? I feel like that is something I want to see. I want to see a Dominator up. Get the Hill Troll, and get the Summoner. Get the skellies up instead of buffs. And that just sounds sick. That shouldn't be right, Mike.
It shouldn't be, John, but it will probably work. Mind you, they are still up against a Grimstroke, so Trazam's doing a pretty darn good job of just constantly clearing out the Spiderlings, and I'm sure later on that gold will come into play for the Grimstroke, as now Kishka is going to find Unknown. They have Fiend's Grip up, they're going to commit immediately. No messing around, right onto the Void. Or even the Sati Mindstealer was helping out.
Yep. Yes, everything just with the 2 support rotations, killing off that Faceless Void. You talked about the timings of the Void being a lot slower as well, Mike. It is already off to a slow start. Mask of Madness is up, working onto the Maelstrom next to clear out the camps faster. There is some presence with Chrono if you do manage to get a good angle and then pop that Mask of Madness out, but it feels like you're still going to need commitment from the other ults as well from the side of Summit. And just look at the positioning of Lilgun, taking over the top jungle, still keeping the bot jungle under their control with wards and the movements of 43. Summit's just choked out. They don't really have the safest places to farm. They've got the little low ground area of that bot jungle. They do get the scan, finding 11, trying to get that push down bot. 11 does have the Dark Ascension though, so he could always bail out a DB.
Bottom T1 tower be dropping slowly, but Mercury, actually clearing out all the Spinelings once again as 4-2-3, still going to try and move in onto Crush. They've got the Mars and they've got a CZY Nightmare. Crush going to drop the arena down, trying to go onto the Bane, but can he get it? Crush still trying to run, but can't make it out as 11. Now can go for a bit more. CZY does get caught. Another couple kills out here for Lilgun, and that's going to make it an 8-1, 3k net worth advantage for the Radiant End.
Great start already for Lilgun, 8-1, 3k. Mercury's still looking for the angle to play with the Inkswell. You haven't seen that combination land. And Lilgun are just able to really take control of the map. All the while, Sanctity's on the opposite side, playing triangle, farming up on her core Tiny. No one is stopping this guy from building up. Number 1 in net worth. Timing into the Silver Edge is going to be good. He's going to get the Shard. And it becomes pretty scary. Like, yes, you've always got the threat of Chrono, you've got this amazing team fight, but Summit has not been able to find it. Maybe again, when the next blink is up on Crush, you can connect a lot easier with your Sand King initiation and try to force the team fights that way. But so far, it's not lining up. 8-1 and 3k lead. It just looks way too good for Lilgun so far.
And it does. It really is a matter of how you're going to slow down this Tiny now. You compare it to the Void Farm at 5k, and you're going to have the Maelstrom up sooner rather than later for Unknown, but even then you just won't have enough damage in the Chrono to actually deal with any of these core heroes. Maybe with the Kisses you do, but I suppose we'll have to wait and see. Blink up now available on Crush, so he will be able to initiate for the team on the Mars. Oh, Orchid is almost built up, and in fact there it is. 4-2-3 does buy it up now. So the Broodmother going to have that silence available to her, and again, you don't have any BKBs available right now on the side of Summit, so while they might start building them up, it's going to be a bit of time, and it's going to allow 4-2-3 to basically do whatever the hell he wants.
Yeah, just has complete control of when he does initiate in. Summit, they canceled TP on Crush. I think they were trying to make a play bot, but they opted not to. At least they won't have the Mars. Chrono is still ready with Kisses, so there could be an opportunistic play from Summit, but Lilgun are just kind of working the triangle, going in and out, cutting off Summit from ever connecting his 5, while still getting that stable farm and Sanctity. Shadow Blade is up. There can be a threat of just an instant avalanche toss now as they collapse down bot here.
There's CZY. Get taken down. Unknown now. Could be in big danger. We'll go for the Time Walk into the Chrono. They're going to try and force this fight. The Rubik will be the first target. Kishka, no, he's fine. Fiend's Grip is going to hold down the Void. Kishka, he had enough stick charges. Oh, and he had the mech as well. That's just not something you see on a Rubik very often, John. He survives throughout all this, and now they might go for more. 11, he's still got the crippling fear going. Avalanche is going to land. Sanctity has joined the team. They've taken down one, they've taken down another. Lilgun just really outplaying the side of Summit.
Summit just struggling. They're not able to connect in the team fights well enough. They stagger out the use of their spells. It doesn't quite align. They find just a Rubik for their trouble in the end. Not the big kill they need. And they were forced to buy back and snap to try to even get that done. Lilgun, 7k lead, 17 minutes in, 12-2. Just slowly but surely building up. We're still getting some good spikes on Sanctity left. A BKB coming through for 423 next. Yeah, they've got ways of clearing out the Broodmother Broodlings, but it doesn't feel like it's enough. The damage output from everyone else compensates for it. They focus so much on trying to kill off the spawn that it leaves the openings for everyone else, and we need to see them to be able to connect on this. We need to see Burrow, Epicenter, plus Arena Spear on top of multiple targets at the same fight. You know, they need to be able to connect somehow. And that teamfight threat's always there, but Summit just not allowed to find it.
Not yet. Well, now Burrow Strike taken by Kishka. It's going to make life even more challenging. It's Burrow Strike initiation now from Kishka. Very nice range on the Rubik to boot. Bottom lane, who have they got? It's going to be Crush. He's just trying to get that bottom tier 1 tower down, but they're just not allowing it. Now in for more. 4-2-3 going to show up onto the Grimstroke. But Summit, they'll be around to make sure that Trezam does survive the initial onslaught, as instead they found the Sand King in the mid lane. They're going to take him down. Mercury's gone. In comes 11. Crippling Fear not even available, but it just doesn't even matter. Trezam is going to drop. Crippling Fear in 10. Do they even need it? They have an Orchid up. They're not going to need it at all. They'll just take him down. Bye-bye, Mr. Void. They won't even look at him when he dies, John.
Just try to run. They were trying to find a snap. 4 for nil from Lilgun, just running around all over the map. And Summit, it's looking pretty dire here, Mike. Teamfight's just not coming through. Lilgun's picking them off one by one. This is why spiders are very scary, Mike. I know how you live with them in your shed.
I don't live with them, Jonathan. They, I'm kind of being held hostage, to be perfectly honest with you. We're taking it one day at a time. John, don't say that too loud. They might hear you. Top lane. Mercury. No, he's going to be fine. Instead, they're going to focus down the Roshan. Lilgun. The Aegis is up, of course, and who do you even give it over to? Like, do you want it for the Broodmother? Do you want it for Sanctity? The Night Stalker, maybe?
Maybe just give it a 4-3-3 so he can just really run forward. Sounds like a idea that you can find Mercy.
Ace 12 is requesting a gank, in case you didn't see that, John. Really wanting some help there at the top lane as they do get the mid-tanking down. In they go. Crush. Ace 12, he just TP'd right into them, John. Crush was literally standing there waiting.
Hey, he got his gank.
He did get his gank. Well, he was requesting. He got it. Shazam, gonna get caught out though. They will trade evenly. They might go for a bit more, in fact. Sanctity, he'll go for a chase. Shadowblade up, Crippling Fear popped. It looks like they've cut them off. 11, he's gonna find the Void. He's gonna BKB up. Unknown, trying to run with the 4-star help. Can he get the time lapse or rather time walk? He can. He has to chrono though, just to be able to survive into the Mortimer's Kisses. They'll at least find 11. Crush does end up going down to the Mars. Mercury, though, might be able to keep going, but a nice lift back from the Rubik. Sanctity still trying to run, but a buyback is there. Crush will reinitiate as they've got the Aegis down. That is just the Aegis, though. Sanctity will force the fight once again. They'll silence him up, though. Mercury, a nice stun to the backside, but Kishka just takes him down. They're still trying to do it with his Tiny, but he'll turn around and fight right back as Trezam and the crew need to back out of their. Crush, he's going to die back. Onto Trezam they go. That'll be another. The Grimstroke gone. CZY, he will be the 4th. Eventually. If they do toss the tree, they toss the spiderling, they toss everything.
Yeah, they managed to get the Aegis away. They kill off 11, and they saved their Void. That's the only bit of good news for Summit, as Lilgun still managed to run them down. Some few small mistakes coming out. Tip coming out onto Crush, tried to spear them down while they were in front of him, and he speared towards his back, because maybe just a bit of an early reaction to expecting to be trapped up. And Lilgun, they're feeling themselves here, Mike. They get to pick their brood. They get this overwhelming start, 23-4. Summit just can't manage it. And Lilgun, for their part, they've got a pretty clear-cut direction to take now. They can just threaten the tier 2s. They've got the BKB up on 423. They've got the full Silver Edge up on 2.
And they've got Unknown, John. It's just too easy. Like, you lift back into the Orchid. That's it. They don't need to pop anything.
Yeah. No defensive items yet on her Void. BKB still a bit of a pipe dream there. And it's going to take a lot longer for Unknown to find that bottom network core, and now barely above the farm Fisher.
And this is why you don't give the Broodmother to Lilgun. Hands up. Quick pause there from 423. Maybe a bit of lag there for 423, John.
Sure. Of course it's lag. Exactly it, Mike. Some internet connection issues, but we don't need to disconnect to see that. Inside of Summit, I mean, yeah, maybe when they find that BKB on Unknown, feels better. I mean, Unknown is just barely... He's 4 gold. He was only 4 gold above Kishka. Now he's behind Kishka in net worth. And Crush is barely above Kishka. Mercury, at the least, is at 9.3k, within 2 to 5k of the rest of the heroes on the other side. Like, I don't know. It's, the conditions for Summit to win, or to turn things around, is to find a good chrono. And I think before that, it's find a good burst strike epicenter, go for the arena afterwards, then get the chrono with the kisses. Like, line that up one by one on multiple heroes, get that ideal team fight. But again, Summit's just not able to find it.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that's going to matter, John. 423. He's going to break the smoke. They'll try. Oh, he's on the low ground. But they should get him. They should get him. And they will. At least they're only going to lose the snap fire. CCY is going to drop. It's still a great kill. Shazam goes down as well. They might keep fighting here. Lilgun, they don't mind. Yeah, you got our spider. So what? We've got Tony. Mercury. Gonna try and burrow strike. We'll make it out. It's still a very good trade for the side of Lilgun, John. And at this point, Jonathan, I'm not sure if Chrono and Mortimer's Kisses matter anymore. I think Chrono a hero and get on your knees and start praying, John. That's about it.
They need more than just one at a time. They had to expend Arena and Chrono on one, and the Kisses. Right? Like, the ideal circumstance is at least catching 2. Ideally 3. Now, 3 might be pushing the envelope a bit, considering how Lilgun's playing, but catch 3 in a Burrow Strike Epicenter, get the Arena on top, and then stack the Chrono perfectly after all of that fades, get the Kisses after, right? That is the ideal, but the Lilgun just never gives that opening, so they have to go for these solo pickoffs that cost a lot of long cooldown spells. And the side of Lilgun don't mind. This is the point where the Broodmother kind of fades away just a bit anyway, and the priority shifts onto Sanctity's Tiny, who already does have his full BKB. Working towards the Blink next, this Tiny just has a ton of damage, level 20 talents up. So he's doing 500 damage per right click, and you still don't have an answer for that. It's, you might have an answer for the Brood right now, but certainly not for the Tiny just yet.
Rush, lifted up top lane. Ace, he's got a Fiend Grip up if he needs it. Turns out he doesn't. I thought this was going to be another one of those kills where just both supports get it done. Now, Die Triangle. Well, they've got the snap by. CZY's not getting out. Unknown died apparently earlier on as well. So, well, we missed the Void kill, John, but I have a feeling that's not the last time.
No, definitely not. Respawn timers are short, so they can get out defense.
Oh, nice spear. Kishka setting up. 11's got the hand up, rather. This Lilgun, they're just going to push the top lane, John. It seems like they've had enough of this game. 26 minutes in.
Yeah. I don't see Summit coming back. I mean, you can't count them out yet, but considering the execution of Lilgun, there's just no openings.
Oh, 11. Gonna take down another. Shazam. Can't survive. This is kind of what I was talking about, John. Like, they first pick Brood, you use your whole draft to counter Brood, and then they have pos 1 Tiny. And even then, the Brood just never got countered, really, as they jump in again. The Void? Yeah, I just don't see it making it out. It's time to call it.
Pretty much. There's coming back from that. They call it GG. Lilgun again. Impressive showing from the former Div 1 team. 26-minute GG call. Summit, and they banned out the Lycan. They allowed a Brood. And they feel confident with all these wave clear they have, but they picked triple melee into this lineup with a Void. They didn't connect well enough for their team fight. It takes a high level of execution to make a draft like this work. Excuse me, and they missed those timings. They don't manage to connect. We never saw the big chain of Burrow Strike Epicenter with Arena, and then the Chrono to fall through with a Kiss. It was always individual pickoffs. And then for Summit, they've got to find a draft that lines up with the aggression Lilgun chosen, maybe just first phase ban Lycan and Brood like everyone does. Last tour we saw that everyone was banning Lycan Brood against them first phase, and they become a little bit more manageable. So maybe that should be the change up we have to expect from Summit next time around.
All right. Well, John, with that, of course, we are going to head off to a very short break. And hopefully after that break, we can talk about what Summit's going to do for this game 2 draft to try and turn things around. But we'll see you all again very, very soon.